This is Rob Howden, the voice of the Mazda Road to Indy, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Welcome, ICP fans, to another episode of the Indy Sports Car Podcast. Hey, Missy.
Hello, hello.
What's up, Christian?
What is up, everybody?
And Missy, we have a few guests on.
Yes, we have first joining the show. It is Doug from. I'm gonna mess up the Twitter. I'm sorry, Doug.
Doug, you want to throw out your the Twitter and everything?
He's the weather guy for IndyCar. That's what I call you.
Everybody knows
it's
you as
not
the
right.
Twitter weather guy, so you are kind of famous that way.
Right. Racecast Weather is the name of our thing that we do.
Right on. And we always retweet them, so if you guys haven't seen it, you might not be following us. I don't know why you're listening. I'm kidding. If you are listening, follow us, then you can follow him, or follow him, then follow us. I don't care. Just follow. Everybody follow us. We got, follow. Anyway, now I'm saying a bunch of words over, just like Missy.
Anyway, and our last guest we have joining the show, coming to us from the USF 2000 series, driver of the number 37 for Newman Wax Racing, with a upcoming graduation from the University. Wait, no, hold on. Let me get this right. Miami University, studying biomedical engineering. Welcome, David Osborne.
Hey, guys, good to be here.
Welcome, David. How are you, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Good.
Just want to give a shout out to Christian there, thanking him for setting this up with you, and we're really happy to have you on the show, of course. And Doug, you as well.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure being able to meet David here at Racecraft One as he was getting ready for St. Pete, and thought, you know what? Because we love the MRTI so much, and we love having new drivers on so much, why not go ahead and get them on? So here we are.
Actually, I'm pretty sure David or Missy, doesn't David round out the Newman Wax squad lineup right now? Right? I think. Yes. Almost.
Well, yeah, because we had Darren on, yeah.
No, but there's.
And then there's one more, Oscar.
Yep.
As
Oscar.
well.
Yep.
Oscar. Oh.
Yeah, because now David, they kind of messed with me about Mackay Stevens and convinced me that Mackay was on way before he was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, it's possible he could have been on, and I just didn't remember. But no, I'm pretty sure I would have remembered Oscar, the name Oscar. So, but yeah, definitely, yeah. There's three of them, three drivers. So there you go. I know something you don't know, man.
Congratulations! How shocking.
Well, I was there, so I got a little jump on you there. So, anyways,
Everybody asked about me.
It's the most asked question I heard all week. We'll get into that. But let's talk about David. Let's talk about some St. Pete. Your first, your first ever race in USF 2000, right? Correct. Yep.
Correct. Yep.
So, I guess just walk us through what you're feeling right up to the day before, and then that first race on Saturday, man.
Yeah, I mean, so we flew down on Thursday morning. Obviously, it was an early flight. I think we had a 5:15 takeoff down to Tampa. Was at the track by 10:30, and obviously that Thursday was just kind of walking around doing all the PR events that we had to do with the series, and just trying to soak up the amazing atmosphere of so many fans being around. I'd never really been involved with a race with that many people coming to watch, so it was really cool to be a part of that. And then on Friday, I think we went out with the expectation that all we wanted to do was, just complete every lap, every minute of the session, and keep it out of the walls, because that's the best way to obviously learn a track that you never get to drive outside of these couple of days. So we managed to keep it out of the walls, and then yeah, from there we went into qualifying, and I think the goal was to obviously maintain a good speed and just kind of progress throughout the entire weekend while maintaining the kind of the structure of the car, not putting it in the barriers. So, yeah, I mean that was kind of the mindset going in.
And like, so how did the car feel up to that point, compared to the testing that you've done over the course of like the last month?
I mean, the car felt, obviously it was really good. We were just waiting on the track to come in. I'd never driven a street course before, so I was not prepared for the very minimal amounts of grip that were offered. So it was just a new driving style that I just hadn't experienced before. So I was just glad to get the time on the track and kind of learn the way the car behaves with the increasing grip conditions.
Okay. And Christian, you know, jump in anytime, or really anybody jump in anytime and ask a question.
Well, my question was just, I mean, obviously I was here with you and Kelly when I was here with you and Kelly when you guys were getting ready for St. Pete. Do you feel like that helped you any at all, or?
Oh, absolutely. I think going in knowing at least where the track went. Obviously, you can watch onboard video and study the track map all you want, but at the end of the day, like having gone through the motions on the sim with Kelly and obviously raced with you as well, it was so nice to like actually kind of transition all the learning that I did on the sim into the car itself. I was amazed at how, I don't know, there was a lot of similarities and a lot of differences, but I was amazed at how close it actually was.
Right. No, definitely. Did you feel like your lap times that you ran on the sim were pretty consistent with what you ran out there on the track, or what?
I can't remember what lap times we were doing on the sim. I want to say that we were in like the 111s on the sim. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
So to be within, I would say, 2 seconds of that was, I'd say, really respectable considering all the like how it can change from year to year, how the corners may be shaped differently. So for both those sims that we ran to be within, like I said, 2 seconds of the actual lap time, I mean, what better training is there really?
Right, absolutely. Which turn would you say was your most complex one? Which one did you struggle with the most?
Throughout the weekend, I'd say 13 and 14 were the most complex. So that's obviously the last turn that kind of leads on to the long straightaway, the runway.
Like you mean like just keeping the grip down as low as you can, trying to get the best launch out of it, or?
Yeah, the problem was that the corner changed so much throughout the weekend. Obviously, when we got there was no grip, and we were the first cars out on track. So kind of like a more wide entry and really missing the first apex in 13 and apexing later in 14 was really helping us get the drive out.
Okay.
But as the weekend went on and the Indy cars were there, the Pirelli World Challenge and all those different types of rubber going down, the bottom line really, really gripped up. So we were finding that you could run more of the first apex in 13 and kind of hold the car closer to the bottom of the track all the way through 13 and 14. But then we had to change the car setup to allow us to get a little bit more rotation on the way out and get sent down straight away.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things I hear all the time is like when the Firestone rubber goes down, and then you guys go out after it. It just seems like the track totally changes for you guys with the Cooper tires. You find that did that like persist like worse and worse over the weekend?
Yeah, so this obviously was my first time experiencing the interaction between the Cooper tires and the Firestones, and I would say that it definitely. I wouldn't say it got worse. It just changed throughout the weekend. So the car wanted to get a little bit tighter. Obviously, it's kind of like go-karting. You get to the end of like a long nationals weekend. There's a lot of rubber down, and
right.
You just have to make the car a little bit more loose. And we did, but yeah, it was just learning how to adapt to the track as well as the rubber that was going down and the car, because we're constantly changing that as well.
Yeah, and in USF 2000, you guys pretty much, you got to deal with the greenest track possible, and then
Yeah.
and then your first race, it's like but your last race, it's like wow, look at all this crap all over the track.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we ran after that 2-hour IndyCar race, and we were like the very last race of the entire weekend, so we had marbles all over the place. If you got offline, it would take you 3, 4, 5 corners to even clean off the tires.
Out of the two races, which one would you say was your best one as far as performance goes? Like, never mind where you finished or where you qualified, but during the race, like, which of the two races would you say was your best outing?
Well, I mean, I finished 18th in both, which was not, I guess, necessarily my intent in both or going into the weekend. But I would say race one was probably my better performance. We got out, and in the first lap, with all the carnage and the way that I was able to pick my way through the traffic, went from 20th up to 10th. And yeah, it was a wild first lap. So I was up in 10th running. Yeah, so I felt good running in 10th. I was keeping up at the pace there. And then I'd say 5, 6 laps from the end, got hit going into turn 4, and it didn't do any damage to the car. I just got spun around and obviously ended up back in 18th. So it was, I had a good run going, but just couldn't make it all the way to the end.
May I ask, who was it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
I'll just don't. I'm not gonna say that name. And
Stop setting people up, man.
And Christian would call that me baiting you. I'm kidding. No, it's okay. Missy, do you have a question?
Oh, Frank does that all the time.
Oh, Christian loves it. Yeah,
So David, I mean, so since this is your first, opening weekend, in the MRTI series, what is your, biggest takeaway from this weekend?
I think the biggest takeaway was just realizing that this is the show. I mean, we're a part of the whole IndyCar paddock. The fans there are obviously amazing. I don't know. It's just so cool to be a part of something that is much bigger than one series. So last year I raced in the FRP Formula 1600 Championship, and obviously it's just not as big of a crowd getter as IndyCar or any single one of the Cooper Tires Mazda Road to Indy program. So
is that the
just being around that many people, and I think that was the biggest takeaway.
Yeah. I mean, the F1600 Championship. I mean, that's pretty much it's pretty much the feeder series right into USF 2000, and finishing 5th throughout the entire season. That's pretty good. With a victory at Mid Ohio is pretty impressive, actually. Mid Ohio is like about the most technical track you're gonna be on too. So, I mean, so you won Mid Ohio. Like how did that? What am I trying to ask? So basically, it's a technical track. Do you think you would excel at like really technical tracks?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I would say of the tracks that we're going to drive this season, Mid Ohio is one that I've got the most time on. Between that and Indianapolis, I'd say those are the two tracks that I've got the most time in. But I love the mix of Mid Ohio because it's all technical, but it's all a mix of fast and slow corners. So kind of like the breakup of it, and I'd say it's my home track, so I love getting there.
Right on. Yeah, we've been there like last 7 years, miss. This will be our 8th year. We can't wait to go.
Yeah.
Love that track.
David, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I know you've got the engineering background. Do you feel that gives you any kind of an advantage as far as setups go, or feeling the car out?
I wouldn't say that it gives me any more of an advantage than anybody else that has a long time in the car. But what I would say it does is help me get up to pace with the people that have a lot more seat time than I do. Obviously, I signed fairly late into the spring, and I've only done a couple of days of testing at Sebring and NOLA. And then we got in one last test at the firm right before St. Pete. But I feel like for me to just do that minimum amount of testing and then get in the car and be on pace, I would say that the learning curve is a little bit steep for Mazda Road to Indy. So I think having the engineering background just kind of helps me sit down and focus and really analyze what's going to make the car go fast and how to apply it quickly.
Right.
So,
and just
yeah.
Go ahead, bud.
I was going to say, just if anything, it's just more of like a thought process, a more logical way of getting to an end.
Mm-hmm. I got you, man. And I guess a bit more of a personal question surrounding that. do your classmates back at the University of Miami, Ohio, right?
Miami University. Yep.
Right. Okay. Do your classmates know that you race? And I mean,
A few of them.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's more of like, hey guys, I'm not going to be in class on Thursday. I got a thing to go to. They're like, oh cool, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to go race cars. Wait, what? And then
MRTI,
then I miss a couple days of class, get their notes when I come back, and do my best to kind of stay up on work while I'm away. But yeah, I would say for most of them, most of them don't know.
Gotcha. On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult would you say it is to balance a school schedule as well as the race schedule for you?
It depends on the week. So this week I would say was probably like an 8. I came back, like that's why I was so late getting my my update onto Facebook the other day. I had to leave the track on Sunday night, kind of reload a little bit, and then flew back home at 5:15 in the morning. Landed and went straight to school and had an exam yesterday and a quiz today and homework due. And yeah, it just builds up quick. So I guess the biggest thing is just to try and stay on top of it. And because when I'm at the track, obviously I do my best to solely think about what I'm doing in the car and kind of be focused in that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely doable. And I would recommend it to anybody that's trying to do racing is to get a degree and pursue both, because it's definitely possible.
If you want it bad enough, you'll be able to do it. Right?
Exactly. Yep.
Absolutely. Doug, you're quiet over there, man.
Yep.
Jump on it.
Yeah, actually, I had a question. Just waiting to jump in here.
Go ahead, man.
David, how did you get your start in racing, and how did you work your way up to USF 2000 this year?
Yeah, so I guess my start in racing happened like it does for a lot of kids. Went to the race with my dad, and it was game over from there. Game over from there. We went up to Mid Ohio, and I think it was a Trans Am race actually. And we were walking around, and one of the Formula, what series was it? Formula Renault, back when it used to run in the States. One of the drivers like signed a hat, gave it to me, and I think I sat in about every freaking race car that was at the track that day, and I was hooked from day one. So it went on for a couple of years of just kind of being a fan and going to races, going to Mid Ohio, and just kind of being around the sport. And then one day it kind of clicked, like, hey, this could be real for me as well. So I got a kart for my 12th birthday, and then started karting out at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which is a track out in Batavia, Ohio. It's super fun. So I did that for a couple of years, and I really had no like intent of getting into racing even, and hadn't done any until I got into college. And then finally, the new manager of the track took over out there. He was like, "Hey, I've got a race team. Why don't you come karting with us?" So that's when Sean had me come out with Trinity Karting Group, and went karting for a couple years. Found out it went pretty well. Got into a test. Got into a test for the car, and then that's how I ended up with the Pelfrey 1600 team as well, as they tried to form a Cards to Cars program over there.
Gotcha.
Right. So how did you get into your major, biomedical engineering?
I'm sorry, what was that? My phone's trying to cut in and out.
What was it that led you to your major, biomedical engineering? How did you get into that?
Well, both my parents are in kind of the medical field. My dad's in medical sales, my medical device sales, and then my mom's in pharmaceutical sales. So I've always kind of like been around that world. But yeah, I just knew I wanted a degree that I could walk out of school with and be like, hey, this is a job that I can perform. And I just like the technical aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's not a doctorate you hear about too often. That's for sure. Yeah,
definitely not. And it's not a doctorate yet, but I always have the option to either come back and get a master's or a PhD later on if I want to.
Definitely. But for some reason, as soon as you said it, I knew exactly what you were talking about, and I was actually kind of proud of myself about that. So, no, I just want to throw it out there. Anyway, but definitely interesting. I mean, everybody's like, journey into the USF 2000 is always just like so different. It's just really interesting to learn about, and then what they do like in their spare time, and then with or in school, obviously. It's just interesting that you can balance both and excel at both. So it's very it should be inspiring to other people, really. If you don't think you can do something, that if you want it bad enough, you can make the time for it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, I didn't start racing until I was a freshman in college with go-karts. So to kind of go from the bottom floor of this industry to, I guess, what's the entry level to the Monster Road to Indy in that short amount of time kind of shows that once you put your mind to it and decide that you want to go get it done, it can happen.
And
Absolutely.
Natural talent apparently is playing a factor in that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. That's for sure. Not that quickly, So
I don't know if it's natural talent, but I definitely work hard at it, and it's something I love doing. So it's worth putting the time in.
Well, in saying that, David, what do you foresee as being the end goal for you? Where's this all headed for you?
Well, I hope it's a permanent career driving cars. I'm not opposed. I mean, obviously the goal is to make it to IndyCar, and open wheel racing has always had a certain allure to me. But driving sports cars or anything, honestly, as long as it's got four wheels and it goes fast, sounds like a pretty good career to me.
yeah, definitely. But you're definitely right about there's something about open wheel that just separates that from the rest.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Obviously I've not done a sports car race, but I don't know. It's something that I would like to try eventually as well.
Fair enough. So your next race is going to be at Indianapolis. There, have you ever been to Indy? I mean, or you said you had a lot of experience there. So have you tested there or raced there already?
Yeah. So last year in 1600s we did a race there.
Oh, cool.
And that's actually where I scored my first podium in 1600. So I ended up second in one of the races there, and from there I went on to win at Mid Ohio. So it kind of like led into my string of good results in that series. So I definitely like the place. I like the way that it just kind of flows. I mean, there's not too many technical corners on the track, but they all add up to a lot because it's so many straightaways. So.
Well, with the amount of cars in USF 2000, turn one will be real technical.
It's going to be wild. Yeah, if it's anything like St. Pete, it'll be something.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, it's the next race in the series, right? I mean, you guys aren't racing at Barber. That struck me kind of odd. I was like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not going to Barber this year. I was looking forward to getting in the car sooner than May.
Yeah, it's a big lull between now and then. That kind of it's weird. Is this the first year that's happened? I mean, I'm pretty sure USF 2000's been at Barber over the last 2 years, right, Missy?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sucks. But I mean, did they replace it with anything?
We're going to Portland now. I don't know if that was replaced by anything. I know we only have 7 events.
No, but that was replacing Watkins Glen anyway, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that doesn't count.
I think it did go from 8 to 7 events this year.
Oh. But it looks like you guys have how many events? Only 2 events in Indy. Oh, okay. Well, I was about to say it was probably 3 or something, but no. Okay. No, 3's at Toronto. Oh boy. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm reading that wrong too. You don't have 3 anywhere except for Mid Ohio. There you go. Oh, it works out good for you.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds good to me. I love that track.
It does.
Definitely. Yeah, rounds 10,
Now-
11, 12. There you go. Mid Ohio.
Well, David, question of personal preference for you. Excluding Mid Ohio, because I know that works into your favor, would you like to see the series go elsewhere instead of doubling up and tripling up in some locations? I mean, would you rather that be spread out over more weekends or what? Just a question of personal preference.
I don't know. The thing I like about kind of the condensed schedules to help with cost, by eliminating one of the trips, you're obviously reducing the budget by a significant amount. So I think it makes it more accessible to more drivers, especially ones that are really crunching the numbers to try and make it happen. So yeah, I like the condensed schedule, but if they were to add another one, I think people would put in the effort to try and find the extra funding to make it happen for them.
Definitely. So, do you have any tests or practices set up for before Indy, or are you going to be doing a lot of sim work, or what's your plan to prepare for Indy in May?
Yeah, definitely a lot of sim work. It's one that exists on iRacing, so I run it a lot.
Do you know iRacing?
Yep. Yeah.
Right on. I'll send you a friend request later. All right, awesome.
But other than that, I don't know what Brian and Alan had planned for this downtime. I know that they were considering trying to get to an oval. Obviously, we're doing Lucas Oil Raceway, but yeah, I don't know what they had in plan.
Speaking of Lucas Oil, well, so what's your thoughts on your first oval coming up?
Yeah, like you said, I've never done one. Excited to learn how it operates. We had a little bit of a safety briefing with the AMS guys down at St. Pete, and they were talking about kind of how ovals operate on their end and how different they can be. But as far as driving one, we'll find out. I don't know. I'm just excited to learn how they go.
Right on. So getting back to St. Pete, I mean, because I was there and seeing everything going on. So obviously the first turn, race one, everybody's jumping out of the seats pretty much, but as much as you can, strap down into them. But I mean,
Yeah.
so what was it like going into turn one, since you had a pretty decent amount of cars in front of you, and there was contact kind of everywhere, but you obviously got through it. So how'd that go for you?
Coming from 1600s, I'd say contact in turn one wasn't something that was necessarily new to see.
No, definitely not. I think last year was the first year they actually got through it without contact ever. So,
yeah, it was. I was just amazed at how much dirt came off the track when we came down for the first time. Obviously, starting fairly well back into the field,
you got sandblasted.
It was amazing. Yes, my visor was absolutely destroyed after that. But yeah, I don't know. It was fun to watch kind of how it all unfolded. Obviously, I was hanging back a little bit, didn't want to get involved with it. Knew I would have time during the race to kind of pick my way through and make my way up. But getting through there on lap one was kind of relieving for sure.
Yeah, it's like now I can get on with the rest of the race because that all happened, right?
Exactly.
Well, like what was like the yellow of just kind of going around a few laps, kind of like settling down everybody, you think?
I think so. I think it was important that yellow came out. Obviously, not just to move the cars, but I think everybody realized once the yellow came out, like, hey guys, this is real. Let's calm down. Obviously, we're professionals now. Let's make it happen. Let's put on a good show for the fans that are here and
there's a ton of people there.
Pass people fair. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to wreck each other out and ruin your day and their day. And yeah, right. I mean, we're there to learn. So the best way you can learn is to do some racing, and that doesn't include playing bumper cars.
No, definitely
We're not winning any championships on the first turn of that track.
Exactly, and I heard that from so many people throughout the weekend was do not end your weekend in turn one, race one.
Or do not win race one because you won't win a championship, apparently.
I mean, I was saying that only 2 of the last 13 champions have won in St. Pete.
Yeah, I mean, that's like race 2 they won it. I think like Oliver's one of them, I believe, and I can't think of the other one actually. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, like with a giant field like that, do you? We were talking about earlier with Christian there. I mean, we anticipate like the field not being as big come Indy, maybe, or maybe a little bit less, or I don't know. What do you think? Do you think most of the people that you race against at St. Pete will be back in Indy?
I hope so. Just from hearing other people talk, our race was one of the most exciting ones to see on the entire weekend. So I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's 25 cars on the track. So yeah, I mean, going into Indianapolis, I really hope everybody can make it back. I know there was a couple of big accidents, so hopefully the damage wasn't too severe and ruined people's budgets. But Yeah, I love the big field. I think it makes it more exciting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, on like on pit lane when you guys like line up and you're in your car. I remember I came up to you and talked to you, but like just like standing at the front of the whole like row and all the cars set up, especially on Sunday with the sun out and not a cloud in the sky, was really awesome. I mean, the cars are awesome. I looked, you know, it was brand new last year. I mean, obviously it's the PM18 this year with different wings on it, but um, you know, it's a brand new machine. It's a beautiful car. So I mean, like, you know, so what do you think about the car overall?
Wow. I mean, these cars are actually incredible.
Yeah.
Coming from 1600s is obviously a tubular chassis and like 110 horsepower.
You like it that
Maybe.
much? I mean, I
I've,
haven't heard that word in like a decade. Oh, you mean like with tubes? Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, the
It,
tubular frame car of the 1600s is just so much different.
that was such a bad joke. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a really bad joke. Really bad joke.
All right, Frank, you're on timeout.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a good question. Bad joke, though.
Frank's on time, right?
Good question, bad joke. Moving on.
Yeah.
David, you can continue without me interrupting. I promise.
But yeah, I mean, learning the new Tatis is just it's just a totally different car than what I drove last year. A little bit more high tech. Obviously, we're going into paddle shifting, bigger tires, wings, downforce. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a really nice race car, so it's fun to drive.
Right on. I mean, Christian, go ahead.
No,
I know you have a question. Go ahead.
no, I'm just looking forward to seeing David progress and seeing what else he can do, man. I know the result over the weekend wasn't exactly what you wanted, but you kept everything clean. You were able to roll it back onto the trail, and I'm sure Brian and everybody appreciate that.
For sure.
And that's just as important as anything else, man. So, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, honestly, like, you know, you just finishing the race at St. Pete with all of the concrete walls. I mean, it's so tight and everything. Turn 2 is just a monster for you guys, especially you know if you're racing somebody in the turn 1, obviously. So you know, bringing it home in one piece is really important, I think. And it's USF 2000. I mean, you know, whatever happens really in St. Pete doesn't matter a whole much. It's just a whole learning experience. As long as you learned, you know, as much as you possibly could, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
And you were safe. You know, you stayed safe. You stayed out of trouble, and that's really important as well. So, yeah, sentiments exactly there, Christian. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Missy, you're quiet. And Doug, you know, please join in because yeah, that joke that I made, I still feel uncomfortable from.
Hey, David.
And you should.
I should. I do, and I should, and I. Yeah.
David,
no, okay.
I'm
sorry.
Is there a track, David, that you're particularly looking forward to racing at this year that you've never been to before?
I would say Lucas Oil. Going to an oval for the first time is going to be exciting. Something I'm new to and ready to learn as much as I can on the oval. So, yeah, I'd say that's what I'm looking forward to the most. It's just something I've never done before. Obviously, I'm looking forward to going to all the other big races, but yeah, I would say that's the one that I'm going to do the most learning at. So I'm really excited for it.
Is that going back to a night race like it used to be?
No.
I don't know.
No, it's not.
No.
Okay.
No. Mm-mm. Unfortunately. But
But
yeah, man, would have been cool to keep it under. Yeah, would have been cool to keep it under the lights for sure.
I almost thought it always was a night race. Like,
You know.
was it ever not a night race?
Yeah.
Well,
it's
I mean,
day race
obviously,
last-
before they
last year,
built lights there, but their lights they're using.
yeah.
I
No, but I think
I say night race though. I'm with you, Doug. Night race.
Yeah, I went there a couple of years ago. It was really cool. It was awesome. I bet
Yeah.
at night. Yeah.
Well, it's because I think we're splitting the track with USAC again, and I think they've got the evening time. So
Boo.
yeah.
But
Either way.
Is that Lucas Oil saying you shouldn't went to Iowa? This is what you get. Day race. USAC has probably.
It's gonna be a fun weekend though, man. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for David, obviously, but just the whole being a part of Indy 500 weekend is such a prestigious honor. I think, and to be able to say you kicked off, the Indy 500 weekend. So that's pretty cool, man. And see who recognizes you when you're walking around during the 500, right?
Exactly. Hopefully, it's because you won, not because you ended up in a wall.
Right. exactly, man. Well, if you win the race at Lucas Oil, they let you be in the parade.
Oh, really?
The next day. Yeah, it's part of the winner's package. So
I'm sold then.
Nice. Definitely.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
By the way, if I do happen to win that race, I'm going to wear the most ridiculous thing to the parade you've ever seen, like a feather boa. I'm talking Ric Flair robe. It's gonna be crazy. I'm going all out, man. I'm going all out. I just want to say, because I mean, how cool is that, right? And
isn't that how you normally dress? I mean, I've seen pictures.
No, ISCP fans, I think Christian's going to have an announcement to make in the coming weeks.
Or he just did it.
Don't know what you're talking about. I'm saying if
you just
hypothetically.
No,
hypothetically.
There was no hypothetical.
There was hypothetically.
It was a when. It was a when. It finally broke. No,
it was an if. It was an if. It was an if.
I knew.
It was an if. It was an if.
Right. And this is where I edit the last 10 seconds after this, just to prove you really outed yourself finally.
No, man. No, but and actually, David and I talked a little bit about that when he was leaving Racecraft One.
About what, Christian?
Yeah, about things that happen in May. I don't know, Frank. Things that happen in May.
Things that
like Lucas Oil.
Things that happen in May.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of things that happen in May.
I'll take things that happen in May for 300, Alex. That's all.
Christian race at Lucas Oil for who? Let's go there now, since you've already spilled the beans, buddy.
I didn't spill anything. Beans are safely kept in their pot, lid on.
Which always. Yeah, moving on. Alrighty. So, okay. So, Missy, do you have the past results of the weekend?
Of course, I do.
I know you do. I mean,
of course.
We're getting into the past second. And by the way, guys, Indy was it? No, we'll get into that in a minute. Yeah.
So we'll start at the bottom here and work our way up. So, or actually, do you just want to drop that the IMSA races this weekend? 12 hours Sebring? I mean, there's not much to talk about with it, but
it's gonna happen, I guess. And
yes, IMSA 12 hours Sebring.
And
starts Saturday at 10:30 a.m.
And Doug has a weather report for it too.
I do. Would you like me
away,
to tell
Doug.
it to you now?
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect timing, I think.
Very good. All right. Well, the weather at Sebring absolutely looks terrific this weekend. Going to have a big high pressure system that's going to be sitting over Florida, and that's going to provide plenty of sunshine for Friday and Saturday. So great weather for racing. It's Friday morning. Temperatures are going to be pretty cool for Sebring. Looking at low temperatures in the morning, around 40 degrees, but with a lot of sunshine, the temperatures are going to warm up really quick, get to the mid-70s for highs on Friday. And then Saturday morning, lows will be in the 50s. Temperatures warm up to around 80 degrees Saturday afternoon. By the end of the race, probably see temperatures getting in the upper 60s. And then overnight for the campers on Saturday night, staying over, we'll probably have low temperatures in the mid-50s or so. So just a beautiful weekend to go out and enjoy the race. So couldn't ask for better weather, I think. Sometimes Sebring can have some pretty crazy weather. There's been races where the track is flooded and some incredible heat and humidity, but this looks absolutely perfect.
There you go. And Indy Camping's going to be there, so there you go, Doug. Or well, not Doug Tennessee Doug, Indy Doug, Doug.
Right.
What is it Doug U2 on Twitter, at Indy Camping on Twitter and all that. So yeah, he's going to be there, and so there you go, Doug. You'll have great weather to drink all day and night, man. Right on, and I'm sure he will be. So, thank you, Doug. That's awesome.
Sure.
And that is your. We need to bring him a name for a segment for this the weather, but I want to
Racecast weather.
There you go.
Racecast weather.
Yep, on the Indie Sports Car Podcast. There you go. I like it. It brings a new level to the show. I like it. Alrighty. And that's going to be IMSA. You know who's going to be there. Watch Elio just beat the heck out of an LMP2 car. There you go.
So just throwing out there, qualifying is going to be on Friday for them. It's only going to be on IMSA.tv. That's going to start at 12:20 p.m. and go about to 1:30ish p.m. Eastern times.
There we go.
And then, like I said, Saturday the race will happen starting at 10:30 a.m. on Fox Sports 1. Then it switches to Fox Sports 2, and then it's on Fox Sports Go. And it's on Fox Sports 2 again. But it will be streaming the entire time on Fox Sports Go.
That's all I do. Just put Fox Sports Go on, and that's it. Hook it up to the TV through the adapter of your laptop, or use your TV. Most of them are internet ready anyway. There you go.
But I do want to throw out that racing this weekend in a 12-hour race will be our friend and good buddy, Eric Filagaris. He's racing, of course, for Lipton Energy Solutions in a 996 GT3 Cup car in HSR. Not sure what that is, but it's a support series for IMSA, apparently. But, hey, Eric's there, and he's in the car racing. So anybody in Sebring, go say hi to Eric. Tell him we said hi.
Yep, really proud of him. Really happy for him. As soon as I seen him, I text him like, yo, congrats, man. Thanks. Not that you can.
All right, so now we can move on. So you had, like I said, we'll start at the bottom here. The USF 2000 race, race 1. You had winning race 1 was Kyle Kirkwood, followed by Jose Sierra and Darren Keene was your podium finishers. And then you have Calvin Ming, Julian Vanderwatt, Colin Kaminsky, Bruno Tomaselli, Igor Fraga, Kyle Dupel, and Rasmus Lind to round the top 10. Kaylin Frederick, Mathis Solar Obel, Lucas Cole, Keith Donegan in 14th, Sabri Cook, Michael D'Orlando, Jason Clooney, David Osborne, Corey Enders. Oh, wow. Help me out here, David. Oscar
Delazuriaga.
There you go, Delazuriaga.
Can't wait to have him on. Oh, boy.
Followed by Zach Holden, Alex Barron, Russell McDonough, Jamie Caroline, and Manuel Cabrera was your finishing order for race 1. And then race 2 for them, which was, of course, top 3, completely different. In race 2, you had Alex Barron finishing in first, followed by Igor Fraga. I believe Igor is with Exclusive Autosport, so yay for those guys. Followed by Lucas Cole in third to round out the podium. Then you had Jamie Caroline, Kyle Kirkwood, Jose Sierra, Zach Holden, Calvin Ming, Kaylin Frederick, Corey Enders round out the top 10. Then you had Julian Vanderwatt, Darren Keene, Keith Donegan, Bruno Tomaselli, Kyle Dupel, Mathis Solar Obel, Sabri Cook, David Osborne. It's a little weird saying it when he's on the show. And behind,
I just want to keep saying, I know that guy.
And then behind him you have Oscar. Oh God,
David, take over.
Please don't tell him about any of this.
Delazuriaga.
Delazuriaga. There you go. Don't tell him about this. Jason Clooney, Manuel Cabrera, Colin Kaminsky, Michael D'Orlando, Rasmus Lind, and Russell McDonough was your finishing order for race 2 for USF 2000. Then we have Pro Mazda. Race 1, you had Ryan SVK. Congrats to him, sweeping the weekend, actually. Followed by Parker Thompson, yeah! And Robert McGinnis, yeah! To round the podium. Then you have Carlos Cunha, Oliver Askew, yay! Stingray Robb, David Malukas, Nikita Lashakin, yay, Nikita! Harrison Scott, Ladovico, Larini, Antonio Saravalli, Chris Wright, Charles Finelli, Andres Gutierrez, James Raven, and Rafael Martins. Was your finishing order for race 1 for Pro Mazda? Race 2 for them was
total mystery and a complete S show in the beginning 10 minutes. I don't know what the heck that was. Jeez.
Yeah, it was a little strange. I was just like, wow, did Rhinus just stall out on the straight? Like, he's not going anywhere. So, like I said, he swept the weekend. So, in race 2, you had Rhinus VK, David Malukas, Carlos Cunha to round out your podium. Then you had Stingray Robb, Parker Thompson, Oliver Askew, Nikita Lashtakin, Andres Gutierrez, Rafael Martins, oh God, James Raven, Lodovico Larini, Harrison Scott, Antonio Saravalli, Saravalli, Chris Wright, Charles Finelli, and Robert McGinnis was your finishing order for race 2. Yeah, race 2, apparently they said the green flag waver got a little excited and waved it a little too soon.
And that explains why Renus never went, huh?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because I guess he wasn't at the mark, but they red flagged it, put everybody back in their original positions, and did a redo. They got a redo.
Nope. It's funny. I was live streaming it on Facebook and everything, and the only way I knew what was going on while I'm standing on pit lane is Missy's telling me through Facebook. It's like, okay. Like I whose pit? Yeah, I was at Exclusive's pit, and I was telling them what was going on. They didn't even know. So thanks to Missy, everybody knew. Well,
so then our Indy Lights race, you had for race 1 you had Pato Award, woo, Pato, and then followed by Santi Urtia and Colton Herta to round out the podium. Then you had Victor Franzoni, Shelby Blackstock, Ryan Norman, Neil Alberico, Dalton Collette, and Aaron Tielitz are your finishing order for race 1. And then Pato, you could have had this one too. But this one, race 2, was won by Santi Urtia, followed by Shelby Blackstock and Ryan Norman.
Good for Shelby. I'm happy
on the
for
podium. It should have been
Pato.
Well, it should have been Pato, yes. Neil should have been, I think, he should have been on the podium too. I leave off. Victor Franzoni was in 4th, Neil Alberico, Dalton Collette, Pato Award, Colton Herta, and Aaron Tielitz. So I think Neil had contact with Ryan Norman, and Ryan Norman cut Neil's tire, so he went from podium to 5th on the last lap, I think it was. So I felt bad for Neil.
But nobody had a worse weekend than, I would say, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron had a rough weekend.
He's okay, though, from what I hear.
Yes, thankfully, yes.
That's the only thing that really matters. The car is not, but he's okay.
And a lot of people helped make it happen for him to be able to race in the next, in the race.
What do you mean?
Well, our good friend Chris DeHardy, guys, he wrote an article which is featured on IndyCar.com, and
yeah, you see how I did that? Good on you, Chris.
So yeah, he wrote an article over the weekend regarding I believe it was Ballard. No, not Ballardi. Oh God, Carlin. There you go. Carlin helping out and loaning a Indy Lights car, and also a gentleman from Arms Up Motorsport who went and picked up the car, which was like 4 hours away apparently, and drive 4 hours back.
Right on. Good investigative journalism by Krista Hardy. There you go.
I guess I'll throw out his other article. He wrote an article too about Carlin making their debut at St. Pete, so for IndyCar. So read those two articles. We retweeted them, so give a shout out to Chris.
Definitely. Proud of Chris getting his articles out there on IndyCar.com. Also, Motorsports Tribune as well. Yeah, definitely check them out. Right on.
Oh, but yeah. But Pato, yeah.
Oh, I was gutted. I was gutted for him.
By himself.
I know. I was looking. I'm like, what happened? He couldn't have done that by himself. And I found out, yeah, he did.
Yep, he did.
Oh no. Yep. Yeah. I'm so beat down by the terrible joke. I don't even have it in me to do it right now for Pato. Anyway, go on.
but I still think Pato put the Indy Lights paddock on notice that he's back and he's there. So don't forget about him.
How did you guys feel about the field size in Indy Lights? A lot of the spectators were complaining that
not enough people were in it.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
Not enough people are in it. I don't
I'm gonna use a couple more cars.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't know. I was really hoping for Martin to make it there. I don't know. He tweeted something out that said it wasn't going to happen this year, but you never know. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, Christian, what do you think?
It's a little frustrating, the car count, just because you see, Pro Mazda thriving, you see USF 2000 thriving. I'm sorry. You see the Verizon Series thriving, and it's like, it's just frustrating not to have that series look as
honestly, IndyCar kind of really ransacked Indy Lights the last 2 years, if you think about it. I mean, how many drivers are...
Expand on that, Frank.
Well, look at how many drivers that are in IndyCar this year that's been in Indy Lights the last 2 years. They're not all championship winners.
Right.
I mean, Clayman DeMello, Lease, that's two right there that were rookies last year. Or no, was he a rookie? No, Clayman DeMello wasn't a rookie, but Lease was. And that's two right there that didn't win a championship. Then you got Kaiser, then you got, who else?
Or on Zach Beach.
Yeah, Beach. There's another one.
Get technical, Ed Jones.
Of course, but championship driver, Spencer Pigot, but that's 3 years ago. But, that's what I mean. These are all drivers that, could arguably, you just, like when we heard that they were going to be in IndyCar, you went, what? Why? And these are drivers that should have been in Indy Lights this year, so I think that played a big role,
Right. So do you think there should be some kind of how do you fix that? There should be some kind of cap or some kind of time that you have to spend in Indy Lights before you're able to move up. How do you fix that, Frank?
Well, okay. David, you could attest to this, and I'm sure Christian can too. How much does it really take to get a full ride together? A little bit more than a year.
A kidney, Frank. A whole kidney.
Oh, in your case,
the black market. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I would just say give it a year. Next year, Indy Lights will be thriving because, all the drivers that left, it's going to take about a year to replace them.
But if you look at it, Pro Mazda, last year was small, on the small side, and this year they're sporting 16 cars this year. So maybe, Indy Lights, all right, they're sporting 9 this year. And Shelby was actually a really late sign-on. We didn't hear about him until the week of.
That's not true. I called it the week prior.
Yeah, but it wasn't officially announced until the
I
week
said it.
after.
I was 100% confident in what I was saying.
Right. Anyway, it came out that the week of.
Well, I couldn't say the week prior I talked to him. Could I? Nope. I just said I have a really good, just feeling that he'll show up.
So, anyways, I mean, maybe it'll be quantity, versus quantity. Wait, what is it?
Quality over
Quality. There you
quantity.
go. Quality versus quantity.
No.
I mean, it is a good field. I mean,
Which one? Pramaza?
Indy Lights.
Oh yeah, it's quality over quantity is what you're trying to say. Because quality over, not verse, right? Yes.
Right, over. Yeah.
Thank you. Yep, proper English Frank over here. I mean, right, David? You've noticed how well I can talk.
Speak.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
No, speak, Frank, not talk.
Oh.
Proper English would be how well I can speak, not how well I can talk.
You literally made David. Okay, I'll talk. And I literally thought that's what you were saying.
No.
I was not shocked at all that David spoke, because I was like,
no. That wasn't a command for
Christian.
David.
I mean,
I was correcting
really
you. That wasn't
you two are really good friends. I just figured, that's how friends talk to each other. Like, talk, idiot. Hey, talk more. You're recording voices right now. Yes.
No. That's hilarious. No.
No, you're actually but it would figure no, you're actually correcting the way I speak.
Right.
Oh
That's funny, man.
Doug,
That's
jump
funny.
in here, talk, man.
I thought he was giving a command for David to speak.
See, it was just me. All right.
Thank you.
That's funny.
That's too good. All right. I mean, David, do you have any thoughts on what you saw out of Pro Mazda and Indy Lights?
I mean, obviously, Pro Mazda is off to a killer start this year with the new car and their field size, and I think it'll continue to grow. As far as Indy Lights goes, I mean, obviously the budget to run that series is a lot, so I think we'll see someone or many people come and go throughout the entire season. And I mean, Indy Lights has never had a massive field, so I don't think it's going to be the size of USF or Pro Mazda just because it's not quite as accessible in terms of budget. And yeah, I mean, I think people come up, do one-off events and call it good at that.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And I mean, I think Pro Mazda's field is a huge attributed to the fact that it's the USF 17 just with new parts bolted onto it and the engine retooled. So I think it's proven Anderson's idea to be like brilliant. So there you go. All right, Missy, are you?
Well, I mean,
oh no, go ahead, Christian. What?
no, I was just brainstorming in my own head. Maybe I don't know, man. Maybe you make the Pro Mazda car closer to the IL car, and then just kind of skip over it altogether.
I thought the same exact thing when David was talking. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I think maybe too the vice champion should get a little something, towards running the next season.
Nice term, miss. Vice champion. It's a real term. Yeah, that's what I say. Nice
It is.
No, it's a total compliment. I'm not joking.
I might know a thing or two about racing.
Exactly. That's why you're on here. And
I mean, because they give the scholarship, for the winner, but the person who comes in second, say for instance, I don't know, like
Anthony Martin.
Anthony Martin. I know, because it came down to the last
Parker
race of
Thompson.
the year, you know. So it's just like you just feel so gutted for those guys because he's not racing right now. So
I was
you
looking
know,
forward to that Franzoni Martin duel keep on going. I mean, now we got Parker VK duel going, but do we have anything in the lights going? Nothing really. I mean, Pato versus everybody, I guess.
there's gonna be Pato and Santi.
That sounds like a T-shirt, Frank.
Pato versus
Yeah, you should start printing those.
no Pato. He's probably already got one.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, there's a bunch of hashtag A team hats that you can get for Parker. Get it? EH team hashtag. Yep. I saw him.
Oh, hot, because he's Canadian. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Hey,
Derek
team.
Sutter, everybody. Derek Sutter. Just throwing it out there. Hey, I like it. I want to get a hat now.
Yeah.
I like it.
And
I mean, because I asked him about it with Parker standing right next to us, and I'm like, so what's this hashtag A team thing? And Parker looks at me, he goes, I'm Canadian, and I'm like, oh well, yeah, okay, I get it. And he's just like, seriously? I'm like, well, if your dad was here, I would get it right away because I'd be hearing him talk, but you don't say it ever, so he starts laughing. But yeah, I thought it was funny after I got it.
well, yeah, absolutely. Hey, David, quick question for you, actually, just to go back to St. Pete a little bit. The size of the crowd and being in front of that many people, did that have any effect on you at all, or were you able to effectively just tune everyone out and focus on what you had to do, or was that like a thing? I mean, when you showed up, it's like you never been in front of something this size before, all these eyes on you. Did that rattle you a little bit or anything?
I wouldn't say it rattled me. It was more of an excitement than anything. Obviously, like you said, getting to be a part of something that size is really cool and something that I thought was pretty important. It was nice to be able to kind of walk around, meet fans, and I don't know. I wouldn't say in the car that it was something that I could really notice, especially with all the walls and the fencing, and obviously sitting that low to the track. It was actually difficult to see anything other than the track itself. So while I was in car, definitely not. But I'd say the atmosphere as a whole was just really fun to feed off of.
Right, for sure, man, for
Well,
sure.
Saturday
And
was packed, that's for sure. It's great to see. A lot of people were watching races Saturday and Sunday.
where were you guys sitting, Frank?
I was standing on top of pit wall the whole time.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it sounds about where I'm at most of the time. Well, I mean, I went up and talked to David as he's standing there. I figured, hey, there he is.
Yeah.
First thing I said was like, yeah, hey, I was talking to Christian, so he knew who the hell I was. He's like, oh, okay.
Right.
I got it. Right on.
No, I like it, man. And yeah, sorry I couldn't make it down there with you guys at particularly for that opportunity that Mike missed that we spoke about earlier. But there will be other times, Frank. I will get you. I will be waiting for you to fall asleep like that again. I will be waiting.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He told me about that afterwards. He's like, I'm like, you did what? Okay. I was, yeah, dude. Sunday beat the heck out of you. That sun will just beat the heck out of you, man. We got back to the hotel. I'm like, and then after we feasted at KFC, I got back to and I sat down. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Wawa and get a coffee. And apparently, I just like passed right out and I was snoring before I hit the pedal. And, like, apparently, Mike started laughing enough to take a picture and send it to you. And then I guess my phone was ringing, so just in case it was Missy trying to get a hold of me, he texted Missy just to let you know, just in case you're trying to get a hold of him, he's passed out. So. Yeah. Of course,
so
no, she wasn't.
No, I was too busy partying by myself. So the IndyCar race this weekend, which was it was exciting.
It was exciting for us there.
Surprising,
not the
surprising.
TV viewers.
Yeah, I got something to say about you, ABC. We'll get into that a little later, though.
Well,
But
not too much
I mean,
later.
qualifying. If you looked at it, at 3 out of the 6 rookies qualified top 4. I mean, the rookies, threw it out there in qualifying. Unfortunately, the race they didn't have as much luck because they all finished at the bottom.
Rossi made sure of it.
Well, with the exception of Wickens, though. I mean,
That's what I
that
meant.
guy was cooked. Yeah, that guy was cooking,
He said
man.
he was doing great until final, but he still finished down at the bottom
Yeah.
officially.
I was surprised
But-
at how Team Penske just really performed so poorly. I mean, I was expecting
Well, let's
Penske would
not
be the
forget
team to
about
beat.
Will spinning in turn 2 because somebody just wouldn't give him any room, so he had to bounce over top of the chicane there, and then Wickens, who didn't give him any room at all, he kind of like turned him around because it bounced off of Wickens. But everybody's like, "Oh, he did it all himself."
But-
Like, did anybody watch it? Like okay, it wasn't a great camera angle, but Wickens gave him no room into 2, and made Will drive right over the freaking chicane. He just bounced over it and into Wickens, and then turned around.
But what surprised me was how he was not able to come back from that. I mean, you had a guy like Graham Rahal who came from the back of the field, ended up finishing second. Sebastian Bourdais started, fairly far back in the pack and, ended up winning. But
Right.
what happened to Will Powers? Like, he spun. He didn't really have that much damage. I think they replaced his rear wing. But
Yeah.
he was never able to recover from that.
He went
Which is
down
really
a lap
strange
there.
from what I would expect.
He did go down a lap there, didn't he?
I
I
don't
don't
remember.
think he ever went down a
think he did.
lap.
Didn't they have to restart him, or no? He kept going.
He kept going.
No,
yeah,
he kept going. Okay,
Yeah,
no,
he still kept going.
No,
They
but
did have to
but
replace his back wing and all that.
yeah, it was under yellow too. So because somebody else crashed or something like that, but then what happened after that? Why did the yellow come out?
That would have been
Because it wasn't for
Charlie
Will.
Kimball.
Yeah, that's it.
Charlie Kimball was the first caution.
And it kind
I
of
believe he
happened.
got turned around in turn 13, was it?
It wasn't like lap 1 or 2.
I think it was lap,
It was pretty.
Three?
It was pretty like early in the race.
yeah, it was. Yeah, he was the first caution, yeah, so.
I mean,
Actually, there was quite a few cautions. I mean, there was 8 cautions in this race. I think this is the most, is it? Was it the most cautions at St. Pete?
I think it was tied for it. I'm making that up. I have no idea. I swear
They
to
did have the
God.
most lead changes for St. Pete ever.
There you go.
I think, we're seeing the new era kids. I gave it 2 thumbs up. I mean, it really seemed to perform really well. And I just loved watching the cars, the oversteer on the cars and the wiggle that the drivers fighting the wheel. It was just terrific.
I'm glad you said that. That's the one thing I took from it and noticed the most was the wheel that they were fighting the entire time. That's great to see, because it used to look so smooth, right? And now it's chaos pretty much. It looks like. So they're really driving the heck out of these cars because of this thing. I mean, 1,000 less downforce than last year. I mean, that's pretty insane. Oh, for a street course kit, 1,000 less. I mean, that's insane. But yeah, I mean, it definitely made the cars are definitely racy. That's for sure.
So throwing out the finishing order for the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. As we know, Sebastian Bourdais pulled it out again 2 years in a row, followed by Graham Rahal and Alexander Rossi to round out the podium. Then you had James Hinchcliffe, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Scott Dixon, Joseph Newgarden, Ed Jones, Marco Andretti, and Will Power was your top 10. And you had Tony Kanaan, Takuma Sato, Simon Pagino, Gabby Chavez, Spencer Piggott, Zach Veach, Zachary Clemens Mello, Robert Wickens, Max Chilton, Charlie Kimball, Jordan King, Renee Binder, Jack Harvey, and Matthias Lace was your finishing order for the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg.
Is there any news about Matthias Lace? Is he all right? That was a pretty hard hit.
As far as I know, he's all right.
Good. It's a safe car. Yeah, I mean, it's still a DW12 chassis. It's still a safe chassis. Yeah. Excuse me.
So what did you guys think about Rossi's move?
It was just it was just a conflict of lines.
Racing incident.
You know,
Wickens left the door so wide open for him. Any driver on that field would have took that door he left open for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely.
And at that point in the race, you kind of had to.
Oh yeah, it was Rossi's last
you
chance.
had no choice. Yeah, you had no other choice but to try
If
to
he
make
didn't
that
take
correction.
him there, he wasn't getting past him anywhere else on that track.
No.
and the line.
Yeah, I just
the line that
I just don't
Wickens
see how
took
people are
was
upset with him.
insane. If you actually look at the line that he took into one, it's like, dude, did you not look? did you not look to see if there was a car on the inside of you at all? I mean, because it's not like Rossi sped up like real quick, kind of like Graham did early in the race, and took out, I forget who he just bumped.
Spencer.
Yeah, him. Yes.
That was the second caution, but of course it says off course car 21 in turn 1. Doesn't say anything about,
Why?
Yeah. But
It's
that was
because
the one
Graham Rahal
Rahal
decided to dive bomb into one, like out of control.
Yeah, Scott Dixon did the same thing.
I was gonna say Scott
Yeah.
Dixon's dive bomb on Takuma Sato was even like,
Yeah,
his was
very
even
un-Dixon-like, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just like, I guess Iceman looked like he was on ice. He just went shoop right into the back of him.
That's a better joke than what I did earlier.
But that's because Missy added a sound effect. That's why. Shoot!
Right in the back.
He's went boop boop boop.
That's right.
And shoot.
That's right. Yeah.
I have never. She does that all the time. I've never actually clued on that. Oh my goodness. Oi, David. Thoughts on the Rossi Wickens thing?
I mean, like you guys touched on, it was a racing incident. Yeah, I mean, and anybody would have gone for the gap.
Yeah, I mean, would you?
I mean,
okay, say you're in the lead of the race, and literally it's like the last lap almost. And it was a restart, wasn't it?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it was a restart.
Especially on a restart, I can understand if it was like 20 laps in of green. I get that, but it's a restart for crying out loud. Why on earth would you take that kind of a line into one, being in the lead and taking an outside tight line? I mean, to get a better run into two, I guess, but not on a restart.
I think what happened is he probably tried to brake as late as he could, obviously to just try and outbrake at Rossi, who was right behind him, and just got in a little bit too deep. And rather than lock up the car and then go way deeper into turn one than he did, he obviously did the best he could to slow the car down, bend it in, which was just a little bit too late. Missed the turn-in point by just probably, I don't know, a car length, and then obviously opened up just enough space for Rossi to get his nose in there. And then what happened. But yeah, I can't blame him for what he did. He just pushing hard on cold tires after the restart. So
True.
I think though people are more upset about Rossi's comments afterwards. Like I think most fans, get it was a racing incident and they're okay with that, but I think Rossi's comments afterwards were just what, I mean, because of course he blames it on Wickens, but
Right.
I mean, the gap that there was, Rossi should have been able to make that. But I think he was on the push to pass too, Rossi.
He said
He did get on it sooner than Wickens did. I think Wickens got it farther down the straight, and Rossi hit it a lot earlier, so he got a really good run on him.
Mm-hmm.
That just comes down to experience.
Yeah.
So there it is.
But I think it was a good opportunity though for Wickens to show what he's got over here in IndyCar, and definitely going to be one to watch for sure.
Oh yeah, I'd say he put fans on notice,
Uh-huh,
that he's here.
Oh yeah.
Saturday they were asking where's he from, and Sunday everybody knew where he was from.
That's right.
He had quite a bit of success over in Europe in DTM and some other European series. He was pretty successful over there, so
Oh, yeah.
I'm not too surprised to see him doing well. But what did surprise me more was the SPM team doing so well. Not only Wickens leading most of the race, but Hinchcliffe in the top 5 as well, because that was a team that totally blew up their structure over the offseason. They totally restructured, brand new engineers, one new driver. So just to see that team gel so quickly is, to me, really surprising.
Right.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Not, they got Lena Gaddy now.
That helped.
Girl power.
Yes, that helped a lot. How about Jack Harvey? That was heartbreaking to see at the end. Like, I don't know how that even happens there, but I don't know. I didn't see how it happened, but that car was pretty much destroyed.
But he was by himself too.
Yeah, Michael Shank. I was really hoping for a good showing from Harvey, especially for Michael Shank's sake, because I want Shank in here full time. And it's not a great outcome to go with. There you go. So, all right. I don't know. I saw the TV ratings came out today. I saw that. It scored I think a point one or 1.0, which is the highest it's ever gotten. So that's good.
Wow.
So TV rank, yeah, it's up. I think it was point 8 or 9 last year. So
love it.
It's
love it.
Yep. More people
now,
watch.
All you guys were at the race, right? Have you watched the broadcast since then?
No, I was home. I watched the lousy broadcast. Yeah.
Okay, it was. Oh my goodness, that was just typical what you would expect from a ESPN, ABC, IndyCar broadcast.
Broadcast, yeah, for sure.
Oh my goodness,
sure.
It was.
I saw.
I mean, twice they came back from commercial and missed the restarts.
Yep. I was so upset.
And,
like, really? Really?
Yeah.
We're not even come back from commercial? And I think the one restart, the last commercial they squeezed in there was a big ESPN on ABC. And I'm like, really? Freaking jerks.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, really? That's the commercial we're going to miss the restart for? Your own? I know what channel it's on. Trust me, I know what channel this is on right now. And I believe I can speak for all IndyCar fans when I say, I hope you do not get the deal. IndyCar, please listen to your fans. Do not give ABC the TV deal.
Amen.
Oh. Okay, Missy.
Amen.
All right.
Now,
All right.
to me, I think watching that broadcast showed me how little ESPN cares about IndyCar, because it was just such a crummy broadcast. So to me, that tells
how
me
little
that
they care about racing in general. They've gotten rid of everything. NHRA's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, they dumped NASCAR mid-contract, which I don't blame them. But,
right.
Yeah.
I think NASCAR put a real sour taste in ESPN's mouth.
I think their lack of caring about racing in general and IndyCar specifically just points to NBC getting the next TV contract.
Hey, plus ESPN's just firing everybody left and right, or laying them off.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that too.
Well, it killed me after it was one of the restarts, they come back on, they're like, oh, and like a few seconds later, they're like, oh, how about that great side-by-side action? Oh, dude, I want, if I didn't love my TV, I know. I'm like, really? You're going to rave about the side-by-side action? I don't want side-by-side action on a restart. I don't want on a restart. I want to see the whole picture.
Right. No,
so don't go bragging about it. Like,
that was the commentator just covering for it.
And I'm just like, oh, it was just so bad. And it's just, those guys, I don't like them either as commentators. Not a fan. It's just.
How'd you feel about Helio in the booth?
Oh, I loved Elio in the booth. I wish he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
It was great.
He did a good job.
Yeah, he did.
Good. Yeah. But Cheever especially in Goodyear.
And I think we got to see Sebastian Bourdais, take his helmet off at the end of the race, and I think that's about all we got. Like, hello, we just had Alexander Rossi, hit Robert Wickens, and he lost the race, and we don't get to hear anything from those two. Not a peep. Yeah. Thank God for IndyCar Radio, because I got, Rob and his partner, I forget what his partner's name is at the moment, but they got, one got Rossi and one got, Wickens. So, and of course, Wickens went the whole, politically correct route.
Rossi didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had about
Rossi
10 minutes
was
of
blunt about it.
Well, Wickens said what he had to say when it happened. I don't know if you guys caught the in-car radio.
Oh yes,
That was
yes.
yeah. He said what he had to say, and then he moved on. Which is what a driver should
I
do.
didn't get to hear it. What did he say?
You got to be effing kidding me.
Oh, no, I know what he said.
And yeah, yeah. And just left it at that, and moved on with it. I thought that was very professional of him. Actually, I'll give him that for sure.
Well, I mean, he is coming from a very professional series. DTM is no joke.
But, So what would you attribute the bump in ratings to then?
New car.
Because obviously it wasn't the
Well,
broadcast. Do you think it's just the excitement for the new car?
Well, that and IndyCar's on its way up anyway. I mean, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
the attendance is up. TV ratings are up. It's the only racing series on TV that's up. So there you go.
Right.
And it's some great racing. So people are finding it again.
We're in the right place,
awesome.
David.
I mean, I
There you
think
go, Dave.
Yeah,
the
this
new
is the
car-
place to be.
And I'm telling you.
I think the new car and all the new drivers that have come over to the sport, created a lot of buzz for this first race.
And I talked to a lot of different guys in the MRTI series, and it's amazing how many drivers are coming over from Europe and South America and everything to come to MRTI to try to get into IndyCar because they're just abandoning the whole F1 dream. And I don't blame them because there's really nothing to go to. So there you go. I mean, I think pretty much Keith Donegan said as much. He's one of them. So there you go.
Right.
But it's shared throughout the paddock. That's for sure. I mean, David, did you have you noticed? I'm sure you noticed, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of drivers coming over from overseas. I wouldn't say that the F1 dream is dead. I mean, obviously, it's still a very popular series to watch and follow and try to be a part of. But I think it's a totally different culture between IndyCar and F1, and I don't know. I think this one's maybe just a little bit more accessible to fans, and that's something that's become a lot more popular recently. So the exclusivity of Formula One has kind of lost its appeal over the years, and I think that's maybe why we're seeing this transition over to IndyCar.
Definitely, yeah. Well said. Well said. I mean, I've tried to say that, but that was better. Yeah. So, all right. I don't know. You guys want to give it a quick grade, and then I guess we'll put a bell on this. Quick, what we do? Quick grade, or no? But first, I just want to mention, as far as fantasy goes, Missy did her lowdown for the showdown on. We did it Friday morning, and we always do it before every race. For Missy, you want to take this so they know where to go and everything? Because I'm going to get the website wrong. I know it. Every time I get it wrong.
How you could get it wrong. You can find it all at our website at www. Oh wait, you told me out. That would be fantasy.indycar.com is the website to join fantasy racing. Again, you can join our league, ISCP Rivals, in the public leagues.
There you go. Just wanted to mention that. Okay. Now, David, you're new on the show there. Grade for the IndyCar race.
I would give it a B. I'd say the racing was great. Obviously, you got in full laps. Weather was great, fun to watch. But we're missing a letter grade because of the number of yellows.
Fair enough. Good answer. All right. Doug?
I'll give it an A minus, but a lot of that, part of that is because
Great weather. I'm kidding.
Yeah, the weather turned out great. You're
Right.
welcome.
Thank you.
Set the record for the most passes at St. Pete. So, I mean, it's a good race right there. Though, honestly, watching the ABC broadcast, that statistic, learning that afterward, totally shocked me. But I thought it was a really enjoyable race. And there's so many surprises. I just love, surprises in the race and the unexpected happen. And so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, like just saying, shocking about the rating. That's why so many people are talking about how terrible it was because there was a lot of people watching. So that's a good thing, right? There you go.
Yeah.
I really hope it doesn't translate into them thinking that it's going to always be like that. But that could be a bad thing. I guess we'll find out. But I don't think it's. I think IndyCar's, just above that. So I think people
Just
really saw
listen to your fans. Listen to your fans. Nobody wants ABC.
Yes, listen to him on this, at least. Don't listen to him on about everything, but this one is definitely. Right on. Christian?
Yeah, this one's valid. I'd give it an A minus. Definitely one of the better races I've seen at St. Pete, and it was exciting to see all of those rookies start out up front. It's like, what the heck is going on, right? And you ended up kind of just wanting to see where that played out and where everybody finished. So I thought it was a good race, and yeah, A minus for me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I'm ready for Phoenix. I am ready for Phoenix.
Me too. Might be going to Phoenix. I'm trying to go to Phoenix. We're going to see how we can work that out. Missy?
I'll give it a uh,
A B for
all right.
broadcast sucked?
See, that's the one part that just, almost killed this race. I mean, I liked it. The racing was great. I mean, they just didn't show enough on TV. It just, I mean, two of the restarts we were still in commercial with the side by side. Listen, I like the side by side. I do, but not on a restart. But no, I'll give the race an A minus. I'm not gonna dish it, or diss it because of the broadcast team. I mean, I enjoyed the race. It was exciting. Surprises thrown in there. With all the rookies, being, qualifying up top, and that, I mean, they got reality, a little bit in the race there, but they were up there. It was exciting. So yeah, I'm not gonna. Give them a bad grade because of the broadcast, but yeah, the broadcast was just, yeah,
Right on.
disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Disgusting.
I give it an A plus.
We got cheated. You were there. That's how I did it.
Yes, exactly. All right, so there you go. Alrighty, and Keith, yeah, I'm sorry. No, David. Yes. David, I suck. Where can they find you at your social media?
Yeah, I'm on a Facebook, just at David O Racing on Facebook, on Twitter at Ozzy Dave, or what is my Twitter handle? I have no idea actually. It's
Is it
at
Ozzy David
Osborne
3?
D, so it's OZZBORNE D.
Right on.
And then
and definitely take a peek and definitely track his USF career throughout the the year, because definitely a driver to watch out for. Newman Walks Racing, beautiful orange and white cars. Doug, where can they find your the weather reports at and everything, and aside from on here, obviously at the Indy Sports Car Podcast with their own weather report.
Yeah.
With Doug, I don't know. I'd say your last name, but some people don't like to put it out there. So.
That's fine. I don't care.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, all my weather reports for IMSA, IndyCar, Pearly World Challenge, Trans Am can be found on racecastweather.com, and I'm on Twitter at raceforecaster. And if I could do a little plug for something else that I do,
Sure.
I write for the website naracecar.com, and my focus there is on IndyCar. So I also have a column that I write for a preview, focusing on the IndyCar Fantasy Challenge game. So I'll kind of do some statistics and picks with that, and then I also do a post-race article with another guy, Chris, and that's called Armchair Race Director. So we kind of do some commentary on the previous race.
Right
That's at naracecar.com.
Yeah, we'll definitely tweet that out for you, man. So, and
Cool.
right on. And Missy, where can they find all of our social media stuff at, so they can find everybody else's? Because we'll definitely
would
tweet
be-
everybody stuff out.
www.theindysportscarpodcast.com.
Right on. And
That's right.
well, before we say on that note, new driver, Missy.
Ooh,
To the
new
show.
driver.
Yeah. Did you forget us?
Nope.
Okay. I don't know, David. So two of the most important questions of your entire career coming at you, pretty much.
Oh boy.
Yep, but we
Hey,
only
you gotta be
asked them once.
prepared for these. Yeah.
David, the entire thing hinges on your answer.
I'm ready. Hit me.
So your
Like,
first question: what keeps you most comfortable in the car regarding your gloves and your boots? You got a favorite brand you like?
As far as boots go, I don't know. I've gone back and forth between this a couple times. I like the the Alpine Stars are really nice, and the OMPs I'm trying this season. So far, I don't know. It's tough to make a call this early in the season.
Which leads me into my next question regarding your boots. Do you prefer a harder or softer sole?
Harder.
my man. That's 4 now. That's
Hey,
4.
Hashtag
Is that 4 in a row?
That's 4.
Yep.
That's
Hashtag
four,
hard
guys.
sole.
See?
It's just so much easier. I mean, I was looking at my my data the other day. We're putting 1,200 pounds of pressure into the brakes, and over the course of 35 minutes, I mean, not that that's a terribly exhausting amount of time in a car, but you do start to feel it in your feet, and I think the extra stiffness in the shoe kind of helps you deal with that.
You know what, man? Actually, David, we're in the minority because my first time on the show, they asked me that same question, and I think I was the first person to say hard. And
Really?
They were just like, what? And they scoffed and they laughed, and I was like, yeah. And since then, 3 of the
wheel.
drivers, now including you, have gone with the hard sole. So I get really excited whenever I hear somebody say that because I'm not crazy.
Well,
They made me seem like I was crazy, David.
He's still
And I'm
crazy.
like,
It has nothing to do
I
with
think
his
they
boots.
associate.
oh, no, I'm still good.
Yeah, I mean, people associate the hard sole with not being able to feel the pedals, but in my experience, I've had no problem with it. So
See that?
A lot of the sports car guys like the hard soles.
Yeah,
So
it's
me,
fine.
you, Keith Donegan, and Chandler Horton.
all right, good company then.
That's right, man. That's right.
Hashtag hard sole.
I'm gonna put that on my car.
There you go. That's awesome. That is awesome. Right on the front of your helmet. No, on the visor, so you gotta see through it. There you go. It's like, what's this guy doing? He can't see. Like, well, how'd you make that pass?
You know.
I made a pass?
I mean, that's right.
It's gonna be like Ricky Bobby's Fig Newton sign.
Exactly. That's the kind of how that's exactly what I thought of when I said it. Oh,
That's
it's
right,
too fun.
man.
Awesome.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, just wanted to give a quick thank you to ISCP for sponsoring my autobiography, My Life and Story, The Outside Groove, now available on Amazon.com as well as Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and other fine retailers.
Yeah, we're happy to do it, buddy.
So thank you to ISCP.
Thank yourself. You're part of the team, buddy.
That's right.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Your family, man.
Yeah. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, happy to do it. And Missy, on that touching family note.
And on that note, you know that I know that even Frank, Christian, Doug, and now David know the season has started, but now we gotta wait 23 days for the next race, you know?